Let's see where the Italian map will take us. A map which is still known as the newest map inside of the map pool, even though it feels as if we've been here forever, which is still quite a surprising thing that we have not had a new map in quite some time. But hey, we'll see where things go. Starting off the banning phase, it will be MnM first ban Maverick. Off the board.
Maverick is an interesting one to come straight out with. Wouldn't be an operator that you would typically think of maybe banning out on Villa. I could see the Hibana ban. That makes a lot of sense. It's going to limit a lot of the ability to be able to open up into trophy from outside of master bedroom. And I guess the Maverick could be used very similar in that environment. It's going to force the Thermite pick.
Yeah, that basically means that you have to bring Thermite every single round now. I don't really think there's any bomb side that you can get away without playing a hard breach, but it's not like a map such as Consulate where you can get away on a top floor attack, not bringing a hard breacher. A map like Coastline, you can get away with not bringing a hard breacher. Villa, there's a lot of destructibility. I'm expecting a lot of buck plays, potentially Sledge as well. You look at the entire top floor, I'm pretty sure every single room but 4 places is destructible from above. So if teams can really start to utilize that from above and below using the Buck shotgun, then hey, things really do start to work. There's a question I want to ask you, Ollie. Mira has always been one of the biggest bans that we've seen throughout Europe. On Villa, I'm quite surprised that teams ban Mira, because it kind of seems quite similar to the way Consulate is played, where you can go below the Mira window and simply buck that.
I really don't get it. I don't know if it's because we've recently seen the Maestro nerf, and talking specifically about this evening, we've recently seen the Maestro nerf, so maybe that's a reason why he's been let in and Mira's being banned out. But yeah, it's something that can be dealt with so swiftly. We're almost at a point now where the players just don't want to deal with playing a mirror and don't even want it as an option, because we have just seen it as such a permanent ban throughout the sort of the entirety of since the pick and ban came out. I think Mira's probably been the most banned operator. But yeah, it can be easily dealt with, especially on maps such as Villa with the destruction, like you say.
We also have the new patch installed. Last week, we didn't have the new buff to Twitch, the nerf to Maestro. Maybe Twitch may see a big uprising in terms of her play percentage, which I would love to see. I think Twitch brings great utility with that Twitch drone. The fact that you can use it, of course, as an intel gathering device, but also get rid of an ADS. I think if you get rid of potentially 2 ADSs, that's so much worth for a Twitch drone, especially if you're running equipment like frag grenades, like Nomad charges as well. That's something you have to keep in mind. The air jabs can be destroyed by ADSs. So I like the way that Twitch is starting to work her way back into the meta. And plus, she can also run breach charges, so she can be used as a soft breach option, like the way we kind of see IQ used.
Yeah, and I think that the Twitch buff is going to be really good for MnM, purely because of the way that they play their operators, and they do kind of like to stack on sort of Ash, Sophia, Sledge, Twitch, any sort of 3 of those 4, and then being able to bring Twitch and have like a justified use for the gadget in destroying Maestro cameras, and like you say, dealing with any ADSs and stuff, just going to really play into MnM's favor a little bit.
So it will be GoSkilla on their first attack, and this will be a kitchen defense. I think GoSkilla are doing it correctly. You take control of upstairs. We said earlier, there's so much destructibility. That entire bathroom, the entire bedroom, all can be destroyed from above. You can get rid of some pesky anchors, and there isn't really many anchors from MnM. Sure, there may be a Doc, but typically MnM, they play Doc as an aggressive fragging operator with the MP5 and put a player like saves on it. I should see no issue with that. First kill, however, does come in the form of Move. Him on that Nomad, pushing aggressively, catches Citizen. Quite surprised Citizen gives away that early lead.
Yeah, it's a shame. Citizen was holding Astronomy Stairs for a good few seconds then. Did decide to rotate out at about just before the halfway point of the round and paid for it with his life. Bit of a shame to lose your Legion within the first half of the round, as there will only be around 3 or 4 goo mines out there at this moment in time. Doki is on a bit of a promising flank, however, just here hiding around 90 corridor. He's well aware that master bedroom control has been gained now by GoSkilla, and he's just sort of biding his time. He's not really wanting to overexpose himself. The further that the round progresses, I think the more chance of success a flank has of being pulled off, especially when those players get very distracted trying to find angles in the floor. It does look as though Panaria could be the only one left, as we do see the remaining players of GoSkilla rotate down and try and get on inside of Laundry.
MnM not banning the Nomad. Very surprising. GoSkilla have really utilized this operator in the best that they can. We've seen her played as much as GoSkilla can play her if she isn't banned, but we haven't really seen that as frequently. Teams like Vitality, they also run an operator like that Nomad. But MnM, they will start to respawn themselves, Doki on that late rotate. And you can see the push starting to form in towards that laundry area, but the wall, I do not believe, has been opened yet by Oscar Mosca because we see Nello playing very aggressive. All unfortunate timing for Nello. That EMP will be enough to get rid. But whoa, look at that. The quick push in from Stiggy will down Nello without giving that kill away onto the Thatcher. And well, GoSkilla, they've started to swarm the bomb site. One lonely player left. It's going to be Dookie upstairs in the post plant. I'm sure is where he's going to have to do all of his work. Hatch is open. He can try and drop and stop this, and he will not be able to do so. Doki misses his shots onto the planter, and Oscar Mosca will say no to him. And well, GoSkilla, great attack, great aggression. I'm liking this from GoSkilla.
What a risky plant location in that situation, with the hatch being open, the last defender being alive upstairs, able to drop another time. Doki drops the hatch, picks up a quick 2k. Even if he does it a little bit quicker and doesn't spend so much time looking through the angles, trying to find that vertical angle upstairs, it could have gone different. It could have been a different round altogether. I think, as you commented earlier, your favorite player, Stiggy, doing bits with Twitch, making very good use of the F2 there in that round.
Any character the guy plays just goes insane. You know, he's played Thermite, he's played Ash, he's on the Twitch, now he's on the IQ, it looks to be, unless he's going to go for a nice 6th pick onto the Doka B. Stiggy has it all. Someone get this guy in Pro League already. Hey, maybe GoSkilla can do that for him.
Maybe. We are going to see MnM switch things up for round number 2. They're going to take us upstairs. I think it makes a little bit of sense. They weren't all too successful defending downstairs. Just the players that were on the site weren't really able to hold and win those angles and win the gunfights when it came to it. And we're seeing a little bit of an operator switch around as well, as we've got Nello this time switching over onto Legion. And it's going to be Kendry this time taking the smoke from Nello.
MnM have always been very flexible in the operators that they can play. I'm glad to see that Citizen is back on the Valkyrie. By far his best operator. If you look at the stat percentage, this is his main defender operator. I still kind of question GoSkilla. Why would they not potentially ban the Valkyrie whenever they know that Valkyrie is one of the massive crutches that MnM like to revolve around with these late rotates? Typically have Doki or Sage trying to support each other, and then Citizen just lurks in the shadows, you know, taking advantage of this entire basement area, and it will be Doki and Citizen on the room.
I mean, the basement is such an underrated area in this map. It's very, very seldom used and can often lead to a very free rotate for a defender at almost any point in the round, providing that you can get to it. It's just such a vast area to sort of drone out and try and clear as an attacker. You could end up wasting a couple of air jabs on it, a claymore or a flank drone, and it not get used. So it's seldom used, but when it is used, it can be very effective indeed. Move there, just deciding not to place down the air jab. He was looking for the ideal spot. I do believe it is better to place the air jabs high as well, because it needs the line of sight of the player's head to be able to detonate. I do think that's something that these players take into consideration. Logic Bomb call did come through there, but did not lead to any kills. A good few points of damage, though, will be removed from Citizen and saves. As Panari just trying to push his way through Study, but very tentatively doing so.
They're taking their time. They know that MnM love the room game, and they will start to execute those rumors. Stiggy below, just solo pushing himself, fine saves. That's a good start for GoSkilla, just like they had the last time. Another thing to also keep in mind is, since last week, Nomad has now just had a little bit of a nerf. You can now hear those air jabs, so those big open staircases. You should be able to kind of see them before it happens, but that's a nice one, because that means that even if you do peek and try and get rid of that air jab, you're still going to be stunned anyway. But on the bigger staircase in towards that lobby side, then yeah, that's whenever you do start to have problems with placing those air jabs.
Citizen still downstairs, still got a C4 in hand. He could be looking to make use of that in some sort of post-plant, or sorry, plant denial situation. But Kendry going to find himself out in the open as Oscar Mosca cuts him down. Doki and Nello now still playing on Astronomy Stairs and need to try and rotate back in as Panari is inside of Trophy. Logic Bomb call comes through. Panari's going to get one onto the stairs and another onto the hatch. Great 2k there from Panari. Citizen downstairs with the Nitro Cell, but it's going to be fruitless at this moment in time, as he is in a 1 versus 5. 35 seconds left. The plant will no doubt start to go down within a couple of seconds now.
Citizen, well, what can you do? We know that Ben, Citizen McMillan, is a great player, but actually does take the head right off of Panari. No chef hat for him, but still, unwinnable position. It's an impactless kill, to say the least. All of the angles being held. He's in such low HP, and Stiggy with the DMR finishes off Citizen. It'll be round number 2, going for GoSkilla. Early lead for the Finns.
Very well-deserved early lead as well. They're getting themselves into really powerful positions. They still had all 5 attackers left alive at the point that it was only Citizen left alive on the side of MnM. Doing a great job of clearing out. We commented on it. A little bit of a slower round to start with, but they're just gathering that information, and they're really conscious of not giving MnM any time to commit and to perform any sort of late flank. With how long it takes GoSkilla to push through the building, you could see then they went for like a study side take. In through study, one player went down 90 corridor, one player through study, one through gamers and vault and stuff. It takes so much time to do that, and then there's just no time for the rotate to come through from MnM because they've got to get back to site because the site is already being pressured by the attackers. Did we just see a Finker 6-pick? Yes, we did.
Intriguing. I believe this is potentially the first Finker we have in EU Challenger League.
First Finker ever.
I think it is. But I think, you know, I think, Finker thinks. But hey, Stiggy playing on that operator. Stiggy just jack of all trades, isn't he? He literally plays any operator that you give him.
You did comment on it earlier.
Yeah.
He commented on it. Any operator that he touches turns to gold. I hope that he's running the LMG personally. I think that that'd be nice if he was running the LMG and just really going for the frags.
LMG no recoil.
That's
Sounds good to me. Pray and pray. It's kind of how that works. Or you could try and take another weapon, the spear. You ever use a spear?
I used it in Outbreak, yeah.
In Outbreak.
Yeah, way back
God,
when.
that's a long time ago now, isn't it? Killing mutated people. It's always a good one. Very unique, I must say.
Castle barricade there is going to stop Kolensky from being able to take out the astronomy camera, as it did look as though he was going for that. I mean, it's not going to do all too much, but it's also denying that little bit of window control. Who's just trying to make his way over on into study again. Going for this typical slow side push that we've seen, but Doki is hiding behind the fireplace. And unless this gets droned, I do believe Doki could be rewarded with a kill, but the pressure is going to come through from both sides. Doki shoots a little bit too early there, gives away his position. He's in a crossfire now. All it takes is Panari to peek on through and grab that opening kill.
Another early death for MnM. This is now the third time where GoSkilla has had that first blood. I think MnM are kind of trying to force themselves into getting kills. I don't really agree with that scenario. If you're on the back foot, just play to how GoSkilla's playing. Don't start trying to play aggressive. GoSkilla will hunt you down. They bring operators like Nomad to cut off your rotations. They are that kind of team where they love attacking. They love hunting down rumors because they kind of showed that against Pac. They took a 6-0 on attack on this very map. You should just be sitting back and trying to play the way Citizen is from below. Use the nitro cells. Try and force GoSkilla downstairs. Take them out of their comfort zone. Every single attack GoSkilla did against Pact on this bomb site, they just pushed in from that AVG side, and they just got the kills, pushed in, rushed in, had no intention of going in towards kitchen. That is where they just start trying to put all their forces in. Pulse is also available. Take Valkyrie, take Pulse, take whatever you can to disrupt this GoSkilla attack.
GoSkilla have proved themselves on attack time and time again, and they're showing us tonight they've still got it, and they are here to play. Pressure is coming through thick and fast over onto the bomb sites. Now we've got Panari and Move both trying to do some work and find the angle. Finker Boost comes in, who is going to make use of it and get that kill. Panari just dipping downstairs, checking his flank. Stiggy over on side of the east stairs. And I do believe that the Kendry with the smokes could have some success here. But all of MnM seems to be running away. What is going on? Dave's going to grab one onto Panari with a nice headshot. Second Finker Boost comes through. Kendry making use of the SMG-11 all of a sudden brings this into a 4 versus 2. It's got to be the first round for MnM with only 20 seconds remaining and only Kolensky alive. He grabs one as a refrag onto Citizen. Now in a 1 versus 3. Can he complete this? 13 seconds left to go. He's going to find another over onto saves. MnM, all you've got to do is try to stay alive. 5 seconds left. The static cam is still up, and Nello will clean things up for his team. First and much needed round for MnM on defense.
There was a moment, I think, that kind of swayed that entire defense towards MnM, and that was whenever Panari peeked in. Panari seen a body run across Observatory, then he seen another one, he then took the shots, but little did he know, another player was right beside him. Unfortunate timing for Panari. You have to feel for him there. But just because saves, then he won that gunfight. It just swung the entire momentum off that round right into the MnM control. And that will be the first defensive win for MnM. So they will head to AVG. This is going to be their third bomb site that they've played already. Kitchen and Trophy being played so far will be the AVG. A bomb site which I feel is very heavily favored to GoSkilla in this aspect. Because GoSkilla just take control of office. Thermite open the walls. And they're in bomb site, and we know that aggressive play that you possess with Stiggy on your roster, with Panari, who wants to take those gunfights. It should work well for GoSkilla on this bomb site.
On paper, it sounds very simple. I think coming into the sort of the mechanics of it, it can be a little bit more difficult to try and hold that room. You commented on it earlier. I'd quite like to see the Pulse. A Pulse playing downstairs or playing for some sort of late rotate on into Pottery Barn could be very useful, as all that floor is destructible over in Study, and it could be a nice, easy C4 kill. Just want to go back to the last round. I agree. The tipping point really was when MnM would seem to be flooding out of Astronomy and over on into the bathroom, and I'm not too sure what was sort of forcing that, whether they were then going to try and defend from master bedroom side.
Very weird.
But I think the Finker pushes, or the Finker sort of adrenal surge, I think that did any harm to GoSkilla, purely because you kind of feel like you need to use it and you get a bit more confidence when you've got that, and they seem to take more gunfights and didn't really win them.
It's quite similar to, like, a Fuse. An operator isn't played, but if sometimes he is picked, people always feel as if you need to use the gadget. Not every time you need to use your gadgets. You know, I think Finka, with the gun and also Frag Grenade, still provides something to the lineup that maybe you didn't have already. Citizen also switching up his operators from the Valkyrie onto the Ella. Citizen, what are you doing? Once again, the first blood goes in favor of GoSkilla. I understand why MnM are trying to do this, because if MnM manage to get away with the first blood, they kind of steamroll every single round they play. Not against GoSkilla, we've talked about this. They have fraggers, they will take those gunfights, they will win against you. I just question it from MnM.
Yeah, a bit of an aggressive peek out there, but not quite as aggressive as this. Kendrew goes for the full run out onto Oscar Mosca, finds the headshot, loses about 75 points of damage, just pre-fires the corner onto 90 as a precaution, but manages to make his way back on into sight. High risk, high reward. Taking out the thermite there as well is going to mean that all these reinforced walls are going to remain intact.
Especially on a very heavily reinforced bomb site like AVG, what you have at least 9 reinforced walls that you can potentially open up. And whenever GoSkilla were focusing so heavily in towards the north side of the map, not having that thermite to open up that single wall into Vault will literally force them into a bottleneck, just like we've seen. MnM playing to their advantages, knowing that GoSkilla are now stuck in a very hard place at the moment, and this is where GoSkilla now have to change up their tactics. We will see the rotation come in from the Nomad to see if she can get anything on the board, but as we know, Kendry's still lurking inside of Study. Will he find anything? Free fires come in. Moves out of the way in that scenario. This gunfight still goes back in and forth, and well, Kendrew rips them apart with the LMG, and it goes into a 2 versus 4. GoSkilla, now they have to try and force their way in. Stiggy will begin the approach. I'm sure that Kalinski will try and challenge in towards 90, if not try and support him, but he will also fall just like Stiggy. And MnM, a great defense, the aggression paid off. Kendrew, take a bow.
Not often that you see a Maestro run out like that, you know, be pulled off, especially because he got detected before he even got into the engagement. Just pre-fired the corner, knew where Oscar Mosca was going to be playing. A little bit of luck as well. You always need a bit of luck in those kind of situations, but the risk was worth the reward. Taking off the thermite, it definitely won MnM that round. And now they can go down into Dining Room again. This is the bomb site that we saw them take in the first round. But now sitting at 2-2, I think they are going to be a lot more comfortable and sort of relaxing into this game a little bit now. We've seen them pick up a couple of rounds, and I think GoSkilla, you're going to have to change something up because so far the clearing out the roamers is working, but how are you dealing with MnM's aggression?
They seem to be handling, I think, the early engagements very well. It's around that midpoint where GoSkilla in those past 2 rounds looked very weak. But they can try and upset the format, because they will be heading towards a kitchen attack for themselves. MnM, they have been forced to their 3rd played bomb site. We never see that library or living room ever played, because it has glaring weaknesses that I've kind of studied as well. There's a lot of blind spots that you can plant in that isn't the greatest for a defender sided, but there is still options for rotations for defenders. There isn't maybe looking to actually play in towards this living room, because that barricade plus those goo mines, and well, the impact kind of gives that away. They are looking for an extension. Quite surprising whenever GoSkilla take from above. Very intriguing that they're taking a mid-floor area rather than a top-floor hold.
Yeah, we'll have to see how GoSkilla do choose to push this. It looks as though we're going to see their typical enter on through Master, do some good drone work, maybe send Panari through over onto study side as well, and just try and root out MnM as they go. But MnM seems to be finding themselves now. We're still seeing Citizen switching off onto one of his second favored operator, maybe, onto the Legion. Just letting Kendrew have a go on the Valkyrie there. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. They do seem to have pretty firm operators for different bomb sites, but it does tend to involve a lot of flexing around. Now, Panari is going to see somebody on his drone if he gets over on up toward 90, as the drone work is coming through now. And the top floor control is starting to be gained by GoSkilla, as Move has got a ping there that the player is over by 90, but going to be rotating back toward the stairs. And I think, Panari, you need to be careful where you are playing.
Very awkward position, because of course we know MnM, they love the roam game, they love the roamers, but he will be supported by Move, just making sure nobody's in towards that 90, but I'm sure that they probably do know someone is lurking, and there will be one inside of that bar area. So it's down to Move, it's down to Panari if they want to try and approach this, but no droning it seems to be. Oh, Move flicks on to Doki in the bin. Scottish man goes down. That does square things off into a GoSkilla advantage, just like last time they attacked this bomb site.
It has taken them a lot longer to do so. We're well into the second half of the round at this point in time. So Doki's done a good job. He's wasted around a minute and a half, but you can just see how quickly GoSkilla are moving now. They all know where they need to be. They've got their positions, and they are all deploying their utility. We've got Stiggy playing over on the window. Smoke canister is going to come through from Nello, and that's going to deny access of him repelling in. I'm not sure if that's his intent at this moment in time. I think he's more interested with trying to play the angle and try and find anybody rotating on into the site as the floor gets opened upstairs by Panari, just forcing those defenders and those anchors to move around on site. Panari got a glimpse, but no, it's going to be Nello with the SMG-11 finding the head of Panari through the floor. He's going to get refragged straight away by Oscar Mosca, however, making this a 4 versus 3 Citizen upstairs. Maybe just trying to cover the sound of his rotate in with the impact there as he makes his way on into Astronomy. It's also going to provide him something to peek on afterwards. Kendrew with 2 beautiful headshots there. 3 versus 2 now in favor of MnM. Another 2 kills going to come through quickly. All of a sudden we are left in a 1 versus 1. Where have we seen this before? Citizen upstairs, and Kolensky planting the diffuser. He's going to go for a little bit of a bait. I'm not sure if Citizen got a glimpse of his foot just then. Finds the Nomad up on the window. 2 seconds left. Kolensky's left with no other option but to try and stick the plant. Is Citizen going to be able to find him? He surely got a glimpse of him there. He just saw him, but no! The diffuser is going to go down successfully. And now Citizen has to try and attack onto this bomb site. It doesn't look as though he's got the most information in the world, and Kolensky is holding his door. The shots are going to come through, but there's not a lot of time for a rotate. Citizen manages to wiggle pinch his way in and find the headshot onto a head glitching Kolensky. Just trying to use that bomb for a bit of cover, but it won't matter. Citizen with a great clutch.
My, oh my, the man has done it once again. We've talked about this season for MnM. Citizen has always been that man to drag them out of the ditch, and well, he has just done that, and that has gave MnM the lead in that round. Boy, there was a moment there where I thought Citizen was losing it. I swear he's seen the Thatcher twice for the holes.
He
Certainly
must have done.
one time.
Yeah.
Had to have been once at least.
He must have done. I mean, well, you're in those situations, and you've got the blinkers on. You know, your tunnel vision. You focus on what you want to do. You're maybe not looking at the sort of periphery of your screen. It was on the edges, but yeah, it was closer than I think it needed to be, perhaps.
Well, anyway, that will stick MnM in the lead. They have managed to take free defense on the trot. And, well, they do get to go back to that trophy and statuary room for MnM. So now the pressure has kind of flipped, and now it's down to GoSkilla to see how they will start to improve. That round, yes, we know, could have went either way. But for GoSkilla, I think they kind of need to get their priorities right, because they seem to be going a little bit all over the place. Panari, yes, did lose that gunfight early on, trying to play the holes as much as he could. But I'm quite surprised we're not seeing the rotation come out from Oscar Mosca to open up that double wall in towards Laundry. Because surely that would create a complete chasm in the entire bomb site. It would stop defenders rotating around. It was a very hectic round. The amount of trade going back and forth, you could barely keep off of it at a stage. So there is things there for GoSkilla. They seem to try and focus on one area of the map rather than free. That's kind of what they're trying to play for.
Free play C4 there coming through from Citizen, as he's maybe looking to, I think GoSkilla may be getting a little bit predictable at this point. We've seen him do very similar things every single round on attack, and he might just be looking for a cheap kill there as somebody rotates on into master bedroom. As I do believe there's a Valkyrie camera over in there, and it's going to provide him a little bit of intel, maybe a cheap kill with the C4. I think going back to the last round, Doki did such a good job of wasting a lot of time. I know he died without getting a kill, but he wasted over half the round. And I think with what you're saying about, you know, rotating and opening up the wall, maybe GoSkilla just didn't have enough time at that point to be, you know, repositioning and investing and moving into the wall as the kills were coming through, and it maybe got a bit tunnel visioned into the fights. I'm not too sure.
It just shows how evenly matched both these teams are, where we're seeing it come right down to the wire. The refrags have been incredible from both sides.
Yeah, and that's something that we've always seen MnM be very good at, is getting the refrags. For the first time in the match, MnM is going to open with the first blood over onto Panari. It's going to be Doki that finds that one. He's seeing a lot of pressure now where he's playing just at the top of East Stairs, and he's going to rotate back to the relative safety of the bomb site. There's a lot of top floor control has been gained now. Stiggy just seeing if he can have a peek over onto the window, but no doubt going to rappel up into 90 and join his team for the fight. Bit of a ping came through there. I'm not sure if that's the Valkyrie camera going to be found by Oscar Mosca. I don't know where this C4's gone. I don't know if this is going to come to fruition for anything. Citizen, he's going to get himself in an engagement. It's going to mean nothing because he is going to go down to move on a rotate up East Stairs. 4 to 4 minute left.
That C4, I believe, was pre-placed beside the bedroom area, right underneath the bed. So if anybody tried to jump in through the single window, well, there's multiple single windows, but the one that looks straight on into the master bedroom, that was the one that would get you blown up. But MnM, they've held strong. They've managed to repel the onslaught that those aggressive players such as Panari tried to provide, and it's going to be the lead for MnM. Nello also trying to stall out with those goo mines, along with Kendra, who we know those smokes can deny for around about 10 seconds each. So it comes down to Kalinski, and it comes down to Move. Saves will try and hold on to this B door as much as he can, and, well, Doki, you can see on your screen, coming in for his rotate, and he did get actually air jab from the main stairs. But a quick trade comes in. Nello and Kalinski both sacrifice each other in their lives, and, well, MnM, nice cleanup from them, as they take round number 6, and they lead the half 4 rounds to 2.
I think after the way the first 2 rounds went, you've got to be pretty happy as MnM to come out of that at 4 to 2. It is Villa. We have seen it be defensive side, defender sided, but we've also seen GoSkilla do some amazing things on attack on Villa. Make no mistake. And I think to come out of that 4 to 2, MnM are going to be looking and they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yes, we did see Pact versus GoSkilla go on a 7-0 victory for GoSkilla, where they took 6 rounds on the attack, but we only ever seen 1 defense. So don't have a lot to go off for GoSkilla, so I'm excited to see how they will start to turn their defensive around, and like you said, defender-sided map says the statistics, but overall, it is very back and forth. I don't I don't know, it feels weird to me that you can kind of call a map entirely defender-sided or entirely attacker-sided. It just depends on the teams who's playing it. You know, there's great teams that excel in defense, there's great teams that excel in attack, like GoSkilla, but in that scenario, they didn't do the business that they needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to multiple factors, like you say. It comes down to the bans on that day.
Yes,
Which operators have been taken out. Is that going to change the way that you're going to play bomb sites, or is that going to just totally drop a bomb site out from being viable? It really does all depend. I think the thing that makes Villa good for the defenders, like we say, is the long corridors. There's a lot of 90-degree angles to be turned. There's not, there's some quite long lines of sight, and it can just be very difficult to execute onto purely because of how easy it is for defenders to be able to rotate. MnM are one of the better teams in the Challenger League at being able to rotate on a late flank and hide themselves away, get a kill, stay alive, and then rejoin the fight. And a map like Villa really does lend itself to that sort of play style. And it really does come down to the attackers being able to get early picks. What about that? Stiggy going down in the first couple of seconds with a couple of shots from 90 window. Do you believe we maybe had a Ash breaching round in to try and follow it up, but the kill was not converted. He will, however, be on 20 hit points, and it's an infusing start there from MnM. They're going to be pretty happy with that one.
But the response comes from GoSkilla. Oscar will find Citizen, and that's Sophia off the board. A big operator for many attacking sides. It's a great operator to try and get rid of potential ADSs that you could try and use. And of course, that site execution where you can use those stun grenades to figure out positions of other enemies. And of course, they always help in a 1v1 gunfight. And plus, the soft breach is always an added bonus. Doki, does he suspect somebody is playing so close beside him? But gets back on his drone and here his position. We could see a quick jump out for all we know. There is potential there for the players of GoSkilla, but they are not really a team that would like to put themselves in a risky scenario. MnM will start to turn their attention towards that astronomy as Kendrew's getting prepped and ready. Still has free air jabs. Hasn't used that flank denial as of yet. Could be possibly using that if they take control of astronomy. Great game sense from Doki, but no, Kaletsky saves him and another trade comes in. It's a landslide in MnM. They come out on the weaker end of the spectrum, as it will be GoSkilla with all the control. It's down to Nello, down the saves. The Thatcher Thermite combo save just wanders to the site and finds one before the refry comes in. And that'll be all she wrote for round number 7. The chaos of a round. And GoSkilla come out the victors.
A close round for MnM. You could see what we mean about Villa there. You sat in the bathroom, you're left with no other option but to just turn directly 90 degrees as soon as you get to the doorway, and you've already got multiple angles to check. GoSkilla, sorry. What patience they showed. Great patience. Just being able to sit in the bomb site, knowing they don't need to overextend, knowing that they had the man advantage to get the trades when it counted. Kendrew, as you commented on, still 3 air jabs left as he died. He initially picked onto Jackal and then 6 picked over onto Nomad. I can't help but think if you're not going to use the air jabs, just take the Jackal, at least get some footprints, and you've got a good idea of where people are going to be playing, because there'll have been plenty of footprints all in and around the master bedroom and the bathroom area that could have provided some pings because they didn't have a great deal of information executing onto that final push. Saves just wandering on over into Trophy. He got killed, but it was a reaction kill, and then he didn't have the information to move on from that, knowing there was another one in the site.
If MnM are going to be going for a bedroom take for a Trophy defense, there isn't much flank potential for defenders. There's no staircases like we kind of seen from GoSkilla. GoSkilla and their attacks, there was 2 staircases behind them, so that's a correct decision bringing the Nomad. But in that scenario, there's never really see a flank because there literally isn't any way a defender can flank through. So in that circumstance, Nomad's pretty useless in that scenario. So if you bring other operators that can provide something else, like you pointed Jackal, would be great because you get those active pings. That's a great gun. And also, he brings smoke canisters, which I think is another great addition to a team.
You can actually, getting the plant off inside of Trophy isn't beyond the realms of possibility if you do have the smoke cover from Jackal. Sure, it can be defended from below, but it is possible to actually get the plant off under the cover of Jackal smokes, or even just to get yourself on into a different location and reposition. If you know where you're going, you're happy to run through the smokes and try and bait out some utility that way. That is also an option. Study control has been gained, but look at the way that GoSkilla have got this set up. Kendrew again on the Nomad. He's got an air jab at the top of study door. The floor has been shot out as well as above the barricade, above the reinforcements as well. So it will be able to be impact tricks, and it could be difficult for Save to get this one through, but he manages to somehow. Players in sight must be distracted elsewhere.
MnM have done stage 1 of their beachhead. They have started to work their way in towards that office area. They've managed to open up the wall. That creates something that they can play off. Saves will also go for the second one as well, but could we see the impact trick come in? It will be a quick slaughterhouse for the Maestro as he swings around for Volt Fights 2 on the Saves and Kendrew. A 3 versus 4 where MnM are on once again the back foot on their attacking rounds. Citizen did pick up an early kill onto Move, but everybody else from MnM, they did not hold up to the task at hand.
Citizen is going to try and drag his team back into within a chance. Doki coming up head-to-head on 90 corridor will find Oscar Mosca. That's the man count advantage now for MnM, rotating over on inside of Vault. He's still got a player over inside of Games Room. Panari grabs Nello, bringing this to a 2 versus 2. Doki's going to peek out. Pre-fire shots come through from Stig, but nothing managing to land. Citizen has managed to make his way over into Aviator Room, but he's not got a lot to work with. He's getting pinged over on the Evil Eye camera. Panari on the rotate. Is he going to see him? No! Citizen grabs that one, and Doki cleans things up. A round that it didn't look like MnM were going to win, but Citizen and Doki coming through clutch for their team.
These two guys, unbelievable amount of gun skill for them to take control of that round, grab it by the scuff of the neck, and just go for it. Unbelievable. I'm surprised GoSkilla let that round slip. They really shouldn't have. They had control of the Diffuser inside a study. There was nothing stopping GoSkilla from winning that round, but themselves. Panari overpeaked. He could have tried to possibly play on that main staircase. You have a great line of sight onto the Diffuser, and you always have to remember, as a defender, if you have control of the Diffuser, where there is very limited time in the round, you will always have the upper hand because the attack will always have the pressure on them of planting that Diffuser.
Absolutely, Demo. It's, I think the... GoSkilla have got to be looking at themselves, and they've got to be questioning why they lost that round. It looked so favorable for them. Oscar Mosca got the... it was Kalensky, wasn't it, that got the 2K, and it really sort of spurred on the
team. Could have been it.
That was it. Try and clutch things through. The very fact that they let the wall get open was a bit weird to me, just because of how much preparation they'd gone to, they'd gone into in trying to keep that closed, with obviously making sure that the top was blown out so they could impact trick it if necessary. They brought a bandit. They'd done a lot of preparation to try and keep hold of that wall, and it seemed to get open with ease. I don't know if it was something that MnM maybe did that made it, difficult to try and deny that wall from being open, but on paper it just seemed like they kind of gave it away a little bit.
Whenever there's only one hard breach, Bandit all of a sudden becomes invincible. I don't understand why they would have that Bandit move, roaming about the map. Why is he not Bandit tricking? Don't understand. You're putting a guy who is an essential operator for denying an MnM attack over the fight with Citizen, which really you should never take that gunfight because it's Citizen. We know what he can perform whenever he is on his day, and at the moment he's certainly showing that. But GoSkilla, they're not out of it yet. They still have rounds to try and pull this back into. They could try and take this all away, but MnM, if they get this round and they take it to 6-3, you'll never see that being an MnM win.
I think if MnM get to match point, like you say, it's going to be very difficult to stave them off converting that, because GoSkilla do have a good few number of rounds to catch up on at this point. Citizen getting control of 90 along with Doki, as Doki's made his way all the way over into Hunting Vault. This is one of the dangers of not reinforcing that vault wall. GoSkilla like to use it as a rotate, but look, it's allowed Doki free reign in. He's going to grab one. Citizen gets another, traded out by Move. All of a sudden, 3 versus 4. The plant will start to go down. Full control has been gained now of Game Room, and it's all going to be about trying to get these kills, but Move's going to come in huge. Kendrew replies equally as huge, and it's all down to Panari. 2 versus 1 Diffuser on the ground. Nello, he is not that close to the fight. Panari is hiding behind the vault door. Kendrew is over inside Game Room. A lot of time now for MnM to drone this out and regroup as a team, establish a crossfire, and try to close this out. Panari is going to remove the Claymore. That's going to give him the option of rotating off Nello, going for the plant. with Kendrew on Overwatch at the bar. No, that's going to be Nello that comes off the plant. Sorry, Kendrew now going to be watching the vault. Panari doesn't really know which way to go. Nello is going to commit to the plant, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to really force Panari now to try and retake this site. Panari is on very low hit points, so he's going to have a tough job of things. Kendrew knows exactly where he is and cleans things up for MnM.
These rounds have been so chaotic, you never call where it's going to go. The flood, the early flood into the bomb site from MnM, Doki pushing through that rotation hole that was left open that GoSkilla try and play around with, worked against them in that scenario. And then as soon as that happened, you can see the coordination for MnM. As soon as someone makes a big play, they are right there ready to follow up on it. And that's what they did. Questionable, I believe there was coverage coming in from Citizen. I kind of seen in chat, I think he whiffed the shots a little bit on that mute. He came around absolutely insane. Was it? No, I think it was the smoke. Kalensky came around absolutely incredible. But then, we've seen the follow-through for MnM. They managed to take control, they stayed calm, and well, good teamwork, good synergy from Kendry and Nello alike. So that puts us in match point from MnM. They take, yet again, another attacking victory. GoSkilla staring down the barrel of a defeat.
Yeah, and it'd be a tough one to take for GoSkilla because they have looked so good. There's been moments of brilliance. They've really punished MnM in some areas. A lot of double kills have been coming out for both sides. And I think it was just a really great heads-up play from Doki to rotate on into Vault, identifying that that's how GoSkilla like to set up that bomb site. If you're not going to keep control of 90 corridor, that's not something that you can afford to do, because you saw how easy it was to to repel on into 90 window. Citizen aided that by destroying the barbed wire right next to the door and watching the door while Doki repelled in. All of a sudden, he's in, straight into the vault, straight into the bomb site as well. And he could have had a field day from there on out. He did only manage to get one kill, but it certainly could have been more. And I don't think that's something that you can afford to... That's not a tactic that you can afford to repeat in multiple rounds as GoSkilla. If you're going to play around with the vault door, vault wall open, fine, play around with the vault wall open. You're not going to be able to get away with that again.
Last time on this particular defense, GoSkilla, they managed to come out with the win. We think that was due to utility not being utilized by the Nomad. Seems to be they're going for a very similar push. Well, actually, Kendry on that single window observatory could potentially get use out of those air jabs, trying to place them on the bottom staircase, so you don't have to worry about a quick flank maneuver potentially from a defender. So they are changing things up. A very sneaky Maestro camera has been spotted out, and Nello, using the fact that, of course, those EMP grenades can now disable the Maestro camera, simply just shoot it off. And well, that just shows the impact already that attackers have over an operator who is so strong like Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro is going to see a decline in use, I think, as players get used to how to deal with it. Look at the pre-fire shots coming through from Nello. He does manage to land a few, but Stiggy stays inside of the fight and manages to take off Citizen's head on Astro Stairs. Kendry playing the window as Nomad, trying to get some air jabs through and aid his team. Just can't quite find the angle. Doki as well. He is going to have a player down just inside of that window. Saves, grabbing the kill over onto Move. Effectively, we're in a 4 versus 3 now as Panari is down, but Kalensky is going to see to that, removing Kendrew's head. Doki's still outside of the map, but Nello gets caught unawares and unprepared over inside of battling by Oscar Mosca. Doki does repel in, and he is going to be able to pick up this kill over onto Panari. Saves as well, finding one onto Oscar Mosca. Oscar Mosca rotating in a little bit too aggressively there, I think, as this is now a 2 versus 2. The hit points still firmly in favor of GoSkilla, however, but a lot of site control has been gained. Doki will go down by Kalensky. Saves now to win the match for his team. He is not going to be able to do that. It's going to be Stiggy that clutches things out.
MnM once again going very aggressive in towards that master bed, but this time with a little twist. They tried to play aggressive on those observatory stairs and that window. Unfortunately, they did not have the follow-through to take control of that. Stiggy held it down excellently with that LMG. And there's a part of me that kind of thinks MnM should stick Doki trying to frag control off that observatory on the Ash. I don't really see the need of playing him as that lone operator over towards that, that lone side of the map in towards that window. I would like to see him with the rest of his team, because we know he can pull a 2K out of thin air if he wants to.
Yeah, Doki's one of those players that as soon as he gets hot and he gets going, he's just unstoppable. You can see tonight in some of the kills that he's getting, he's just kind of finding himself, and it just looks like he's, I don't know, I'd like to see him playing a little bit more with the team. I think the round that we saw Doki and Citizen clutch things out, that's when Doki really comes into his own, when he's got a player to bounce off, and when he's got somebody else that he's going to be able to work with. Seeing that solo Ash push, while it is working for them to a degree, I'd like to see him, coupled up with another one of the attackers and just trying to, cause a real nuisance somewhere, making some, pretty harsh pinches onto the defenders. But I think, GoSkilla, they've got another bite of the cherry. They've got another chance to stave off MnM from converting on this match point. You never know. Maybe we'll see a draw. It isn't beyond the realms of possibility. GoSkilla now only being 2 rounds away, taking us downstairs into dining.
There's potential. There's always potential in a game like Rainbow Six where you can never call what's going to happen. We've seen upsets. We have seen comebacks. This game has everything, and I'm sure that certainly this Challenger League match will live up to expectations. GoSkilla going for a different approach with a kitchen defense. They will try and hold upstairs in towards the observatory. There is potential here for MnM to try and catch these players by surprise. With a potential quick rush, there is options here in the way that MnM are starting to stack up towards that southeast side of the map. We could see that.
Yeah, if the players are going to be upstairs, maybe there's no need to push them, but with the hatch open and Oscar Mosca finding angles like that, it is going to be difficult to do so. Doki finding himself on his signature wall now, window now, just outside of Trophy. And as you say, heavy presence going on upstairs. Citizen finds a down over on into Trophy. So that really could help Doki make his way in. But Panari is going to cut him down in the process, as well as Kalensky going to grab one over onto Kendry. Not looking too good for MnM at this moment in time. Doki just managed to find a prone Stiggy, but is going to be downed in the process and cleaned up by Oscar Mosca. We're not even halfway through into the round, and it is all down to Nello. We've seen Nello do amazing things. We have seen him be the clutch master on defense. Can he be the clutch master on attack? He's got all the time he needs to work with, over a minute and a half, but I can't help but think this would be a good time for MnM to talk about how they are going to progress and how they are going to convert this match point, because the push doesn't seem to be fruitful. Oscar Mosca finding him on the same angle he used onto saves earlier on in the round.
The shark, as we like to refer to him, in very shallow waters, and it will be a very watery grave for Nello. This will be our final round of this match. This will either end in an MnM victory, or it will be a draw, just like the last time both of these teams played way back in week number 3 on Border. Aviator Games Room is GoSkilla's pick. This is going to be their last defense here, and well, can they go the distance? Can they take this all the way and take a draw away from MnM? So the pressure in this scenario, I think's on MnM. GoSkilla, they have a bit of momentum. They have the morale behind them to try and see them through this. But last time we've seen this AVG, the last 2 times we've seen AVG, it was an MnM attacking win. And that's simply because the aggression from Doki pushing in through that vault rotation hole. But this time, GoSkilla are not going to put that up at a risk, and instead they will reinforce that wall.
Yeah, it's a wise move there coming through from GoSkilla. You can see there a good spread of kills on the side of GoSkilla and a good spread of kills on the side of MnM as well. Doki and Kendry coming in clutch with over 10 apiece. Yeah, reinforcing the vault wall, it's something you've got to do at this moment in time. And this is what we talk about when we talk about adaptation. So GoSkilla are now going to have to adapt the sort of hold that they would wish to do. We're seeing the mute being brought out now, no Maestro. And we're going to also see statuary reinforced as well. So quite an extended hold this time from GoSkilla, which did work for them very well in the previous round. We saw quite an extended hold there on to dining downstairs, exclusively defended from the top floor, and they were successful indeed. So maybe that's the order of the day for GoSkilla, just a bit more of an extended roam, not give MnM so much ground and try and get those early kills. We have seen MnM struggle if they do suffer to first blood.
The defense will start to be held up. Quite surprised that we're not seeing GoSkilla pick up the bandit. There's only one form of hard breach. It's only the Thermite. You can bandit trick that all day of the week. It's not as if you have to worry about Maverick holes. Not as if you have to worry about Hex Kairos is being placed on the wall beside you. Quite surprised why he's not been a #1 picked operator, because it makes a lot of sense. Andrew getting rid of his Twitch drone already. Quite an early pick for the defensive side, and I don't even think that Twitch got any utility from that. Didn't get any ADSs, didn't get any mute jammers. Nothing really there that Kendrick can walk away with. So MnM, once again, they're going to be putting their focus in towards that study, along with the usual odd rumor, or the flank, what should we say in this format, is going to be Doki. Impact Trick will land. That's going to be one Thermite charge gone. This is what GoSkilla needed to do last time. They just need to play their match. They know that the bans have weakened attacks already because you do not have double hard breach. You can only bring the Thermite. So Impact Tricking and Bandit Tricking work great for this bomb site.
Yeah, if you can keep hold of the site, it is going to make your job a lot easier. Look at all the attention being showed onto that reinforced panel at the back of bar. 2 players from MnM watching that as Saves is successful in opening that wall. It's not a typical angle to open up, as it's a hard 90 angle, and you can get players like Oscar Mosca finding heads from led down behind the pool table. Citizen is going to enter on in and try and refrag that out a little bit late, but Oscar Mosca has since moved. Doki making his way in, grabs one onto Kalensky. Rotate now coming through from Citizen as he tries to open up the floor and use that lifeline to just push any of the defenders out that could be located behind the bar. Doki finds one just there, doesn't manage to land any shots at all. Moving into the final 45 seconds. Nello, what a beast with a wall bang through there from one side to another. Cleans it up, makes it 2, gets refragged out by Oscar Mosca. Not before Move takes out Saves and Panari takes out Citizen. Doki now left in a 2 versus 1 to try and clutch out this win for his team. If not, it is going to be a draw at best. He makes his way on into the vault. He's left with 2 players. Gets one with the pistol. Changes over to the R4C. 20 seconds. He has got time to drone this. Stun grenades come through. Panari is not going to be flashed. However, Doki has changed his line of attack, and I'm not sure if Panari is aware. It is going to come through. No, Panari is going to find that one, and that will make it a draw.
My, oh my, we have went the full distance in our first match. GoSkilla pulling back the comeback as they managed to take 3 defensive wins on the trot, and that did see them over the line for a draw. So it's as if we've just went back in time to week number 3, just a different change of scenery. But overall, I think this just shows how competitive both these teams are. We know both of them are inside the playoffs, so a draw does not change the standings in the slightest for both of them in terms of seeding positions. That'll be our first match done of this evening, and what a way to do it, Ollie. Excellent match.
I think we both kind of knew moving into that it was going to be close. I wasn't sure if it was going to be that close. I thought that either one team or the other would just push away with it, being such an important game for both those sides. They're both, of course, going to want to win. They're going to want to stamp down that authority and have that confidence moving into the playoffs. So I did think that one team was going to win. I wouldn't have called it as a draw, but what a fitting way to see these 2 teams and sort of see the regular season of Challenger League to conclusion. They are, of course, going to progress on into playoffs where they may play each other again, but that's just, that's just what you get. To see them draw, very well matched, and best of luck to both of those teams in their next games.
And just looking at some of the rounds that kind of played out, it was a 4-2 split on either side for defender-sided victory, just like Border was whenever they played each other in week number 3 in Border. It was, again, 4 rounds to 2 on a defensive-sided victory. So that does show that both these teams are very capable in their defensive skills, but there was moments in attack where it looked to be, I think, some rounds for MnM, they almost had it. Like that, even that 1v1 at the end could have went in Doki's way.
You can't rely on 1v1s. 1v1s can go either way and regularly do. It isn't a reliable way of winning a round. You shouldn't be looking at a round win and going, oh yeah, we won that bomb site. Yeah, but it came down to a 1v1. That's a very important piece of information and not to be relied on. But individual play is important. Saying that, GoSkilla, their attacks was really strong. And I feel like
they dropped off a bit, yeah. Dropped off a little bit.
They had some really good attacks, but like you say, they did just drop off. And I'm not sure why they did, because they were still doing things right, but it was just the adaptation from both sides whilst on defense that resulted in that scoreline of 4-2-4-2, because the way that GoSkilla were able to adapt and then start reinforcing Vault Wall, the way that MnM started to play a little bit differently on the defense and then went through that they went through the roaming phase, didn't work for them. Hyper aggressive phase really worked quite well for them. And then they went back to like a lurking phase, and then that worked quite well for them. And they were sort of trying to keep one step ahead of GoSkilla whilst on defense, and both teams did that very, very well.
That will conclude our first match for this evening, ending in a tie between both these teams, but we will be up next with our next match, Gaming take on the #1 team inside of EU Challenger League, Team Vitality. That's coming up real quick. Don't go anywhere.